Joining us now with their thoughts, former CNN anchor and CEO of Agua Media, Rick Sanchez, plus GOP strategist and Newsmax columnist John Burnett, also host of Money Talk with Melanie, Collette. Melanie, you're biting at the bit. What do you think?
Man, well, first of all, Tucker's one of my favorites. Just I need to expose my bias. There's plenty of social media posts, just me with Tucker with hearts, because I just absolutely adored this show. So this is really disappointing to hear, obviously. But the court sent a huge message with that lawsuit, $800 million. But I think there's more to the story that we're going to find out much later. Yeah. He oftentimes, especially over the last 6 months, as watching Tucker's show, I've been wondering, does he have good enough security? I hope that, because the people that he's bothering are very important, powerful people. So I'm not altogether surprised that something like this happened. That something bad was going to happen. I'm actually glad it was his job and not him.
Well, yeah, let's just leave it at that.
Right, yeah. John Burnett, Wall Street, of course, reacting to the news. Fox News has lost about $1 billion of market value since they announced Tucker's departure. Clearly he was valuable, at least going with that.
Right, but it reminds me of that movie Friday, right? Friday, when Ice Cube's character gets fired on the weekend. The thing is that, the stock is down because of the lawsuit, but as well as what Tucker represented, which you just displayed in terms of the number of viewers. Who's going to replace that? So you have the lawsuit and you have a huge gap in the primetime, show. Yeah. But we know that the lawsuit wasn't the only reason. Why? Because there's numerous sexual harassment cases.
There's a case right now.
And we don't know, right? We saw 60 Minutes this past Sunday with Ray Epps. Right? Yeah. We know how Tucker and others went after Ray Epps, and Ray Epps cleared his name saying that, look, I never worked for the FBI, right? And many people like Tucker and others claimed that he was a plant. Now, Ray Epps, just like Nick Salmon, actually lodged a $250 million lawsuit against CNN. Will Ray Epps actually go after Tucker and Fox? We don't know.
All right. Let's bring in Rick Sanchez. Rick, feel free to comment on either of these. I guess you would call Tucker a powerhouse.
Yeah.
Well,
whatever you want.
This.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Rick.
When it comes to these decisions, I don't think most of these big cable networks give a damn about your ratings. So as far as they're concerned, everybody's easily replaceable and changeable.
It's about brand?
Yeah, they just think, well, first of all, remember, in the cable business, what they need are subscribers, not necessarily ratings. I remember, when CNN fired me, I had the highest ratings at the time. I was pushing Bill O'Reilly and beating Oberman when they put me at 8 o'clock. I remember I had a conversation with one of the bigwigs over at CNN who sat on the board, and I said, do ratings matter? And he says, no, we don't give a damn about ratings. The only thing we care about is how many subscribers we have. And that's often why decisions are made. I mean, oftentimes, I remember there was a famous anchor who had recently been let go at Fox. And I had talked to the guy at the time who was running Fox News. And I asked him why, and he said, it doesn't matter. We'll just put somebody else in there. So oftentimes these decisions, we tend to personalize them because I used to appear on Tuck Show all the time. And I came into the business with the guy on NBC, with Lemon. So I know them both, and I know that we tend to think, well, I like this guy or I like that guy. But in the end, the networks make their decisions because lawyers told them what to do.
Yeah.
And I think there's something
and that's what we're trying to explore.
Right. Yeah.
It's like if you say it's about brand, if it's about business, it's not about personal things.
Sure, although it feels personal when it happens to you.
It's
Rick,
personal to you.
Yeah, exactly. Rick, I want to ask you something real quick. Again,
by the way, that was Roger Ailes who told me that.
Yeah, we
know.
We did the math.
Rick, as a former CNN anchor, again, who was let go, do you think that Don Lemon's announcement on Twitter is a good thing or a bad thing, considering management reportedly said, hey, he was given the opportunity to meet with us, just as a former CNNer?
Well, I'll tell you what, it's fitting, isn't it? Have you guys had a chance to scan or read the Variety article that just came out, which may be the reason he was fired? I didn't get a chance to read it. I've been like, when you guys were going to me, somebody sent it to me and I started going through it. The Variety article seems to indicate that, the whole misogyny thing, people were angry at him, that he had some I didn't see this in him when I knew him, but it seems like they're saying he's got real serious anger issues, that he did some horrible things to some of his colleagues that really pissed them off. I mean, I guess it is. This is what Variety is saying.
How long has he been there?
Richard.
17 years?
17
Apparently
years.
for 17 years it didn't have any effect.
Yeah, well, it's actually a great point. But the reason I'm saying that, Bob, is because Katrina's question is, what do you think of his angry response on Twitter? And I'm thinking, I just read a Variety article that says he's got anger issues.
Speaking of brand, I guess it's on brand. We might say.
Well
Yeah.
put. Well put.
Thank you.
And you wrapped it all up.
There we go.
End
Like how I
scene.
did
Very
that.
nicely
And
done.
All right. Mike has been dropped. So Rick Sanchez, Melanie, Collette, John Burnett, thank you.
Thanks, guys.